Today I'm going to do a teardown on a oxygen generator. These are the things that people use when they need oxygen because they smoked. And man, there's a lot of good parts in this thing. There's an hourly, I don't know, counter or something. You click it, it gets clicked, and it only counts up. If the focus would work. A lot of mechanical stuff. There's silicone tubes in here. There's this great motor. You can use it as a suction motor. I made this little cork. I was originally going to use this for a pick and place machine suction. It's really quiet. It's made to run in the house, and the suction is amazing. I put some aquarium tubing through a cork, stuffed it in the intake. Also, there's this canister filled with this chemical that when you pressurize it, I think the nitrogen gets pressurized in these microscopic little voids, and then when you first outgas, oxygen comes out first through the tube that delivers oxygen to the user, and then it outgasses. It has a solenoid box on top. The solenoid box looks like this, and it's 5 volt, and it lets some of the gas out. It's got little relays for solenoid. It's got this really cool silicon pressure sensor that goes into a circuit board. This is just the tubing that goes to the air sensor. It's got this silicone tubing, which is super heat resistant because when you pressurize gas, it gives off heat. I was thinking this would be cool to put around a soldering iron station or something to, keep the wires from melting. And this chassis alone, I think I'm going to put it in my CNC machine. I was looking for a chassis for a plastic one that it wouldn't short out all my circuits I made. And it's got the 110 volt going in, and it comes around here and gives you power right here. It's got this thing. I'm not quite sure what it is. Let me try to grab it here. Oh yeah, Yeah, it's pretty tight in there. Let me see. I don't know, better leave that one alone. And then check out the motor inside. This is from a different one, but if you put your finger over here and try to spin it, there's a lot more resistance. Got several of these, and the chassis makes me want to build some kind of Star Wars little courier robot that runs around the halls. It's like really smooth. Maybe I'll build a robot with the kids. So let me take this off. Abracadabra. So there's another respirator filter here for Darth Vader, I guess. And there's a secret channel in here. I guess I could store wires, extra wire, put it in this. But there's tons of little output ports for, I could move wires in and out of this thing, and totally plastic, so no chance of shorting out my circuit boards for my CNC machine. These are the circuit boards for my CNC machine, and it's a total kludge. And one day I was moving a wrench and snapped. Luckily it didn't damage anything, but lesson learned. I'm going to put it in this case. Ripping out this section and seeing if it'll fit between these rails. Maybe it'll just stabilize it, and I can put my other circuits here, across here, and across here. Oh, wow, that's loud. Oh, I think I'll put some gloves on. Nothing like some sharp plastic to ruin your hand. Oof. Oh, one just shot across the garage. Oof. That's looking better. I was going to use a Dremel tool, but this is actually pretty easy and it's breaking right where I want it to. One more should do it. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. By the way, how do you guys like the new curtains? I finally cleaned my window in here for some more light and a nice white table for you guys. Next, I'm going to remove all this foam. I don't think it would melt or anything because it's made for a pretty tough environment with some hot tank in there, but I don't know. Maybe I should leave it. I know it would give more space for circuit boards on this side. Yeah, I think or maybe they would hold the circuit boards in place if I left it in. Maybe I'll leave it for now. Try to place all the components inside. And I just noticed the bottom has a removable panel. So maybe I remove this and use it as the top here for a full enclosure. And it looks like it's still enclosed at the bottom, so let's try it. When I was at Hogwarts, I got a Gauss wand, and it's a little trick I used to just quickly remove all the screws. Well, that one was stubborn. Yeah, see? Oh boy. Got an almond, some peanut shells. The person must have been inhaling some great stuff. Ugh. Time to give this thing a dust bath. Well, that's deteriorating, so I'm going to definitely remove this foam. I think I'll peel it and then hit it with a hot gun, a heat gun, to melt all this foam. Well, luckily that wasn't too bad. Maybe I'll scrape it with some wood scrapers. How about chisels? That way I don't get as much plastic fumes. Well, what's going to happen with a heat gun? Look at this. There's some backing tape. I might be able to peel it all off. And since I don't want to melt my brand new white work surface, I'll use this aluminum baking pan. Okay, this is going to take me a while. Let me do that off camera. Oops, the panel started to deform. Too much heat. Still usable though. Okay, let's see if I can get this to come off in one peel. The trick is to fix any damage that occurs when you're pulling the tape like that by pulling it even with the other tape and then trying to get the whole piece to come off at one time. Works for wine bottle labels too. Did I tell you guys I had to fix my Harbor Freight heat gun? Yeah, the heating element pulled through that mica cardboard junk off of one of the rivets, and so the fan didn't spin anymore. The symptom was the fan didn't spin, but the heat gun still got hot. So I looked at a lot of YouTube videos on how to fix it, but nobody had anything about it. Eventually I used a multimeter and found that it looked like it was connecting, but the fan motor just wasn't connecting to the heat element where it draws its voltage. I'll do this off camera. Okay, I didn't mean to make this a tape pulling video, but there it is. Now let's try it. Da-da-da. Yeah, there goes peanuts. Okay, so this will need to have holes in it to fit these posts, or I cut the posts off, which is probably a better option. How to cut the posts. Looks like it's going to fit right in this seam around the edge. Boy, I can't get that lucky, can I? Man. Yeah, no, it might be a little short. Yeah, it is. It's a little short. So I'm going to use the posts, cut them off, and then drill holes into these plastic posts. Mount the screws in here going into these posts. I got some white baking trays too to contain any dust I have. So this might be a little aggressive. What do you think? I don't want to touch the wire, so I'll tuck them back in here. Man, I made this as a joke. I brought this, but it's actually doing very well. Okay, now back to the normal saw. Yeah, Sears is out of business. Oh, bummer, it's hollow inside. I guess I should have drilled a hole and figured that out. Well, I can still shove a piece of wood in here and then drill into the wood. Oh, lots of options. I forgot to use my Gaussian wand. Ah, there, that's much easier. I wonder how many of you thought I was going to hit the window when I was sawing. Just thought of that as I was finishing up. Well, thank goodness for good old 1980s Craftsman saws. I guess we can't buy any of those anymore. And let's see if it fits. It fits perfectly. I guess they used some machining tool or some mold that used the same plate or something. So that's going to be a pretty cool chassis. Man, I could build robots in these things too. another Craftsman tool, the 10-inch file. I actually just opened this file, haven't used it for a long time. Well, I could check the scrap wood pile. That won't fit. That's too loose. Too loose. Yeah, that's a pretty good fit, but it's still loose. It would make the top come off with a nice insertion. If I didn't attach the wood to the post, I could just have it clamp in. Maybe I'll heat shrink these with the hot glue gun and make them a little tighter. I meant hot gun, heat gun, not glue gun. Yeah, a little bit too tight. Now I hope it didn't screw it up permanently. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, maybe I could just make one of them tight. The others will just be stabilizers for the rotational aspect. And then I can screw this. I'll cut this off here and screw this in. And I'll have a panel. It does have some little holes on the edges, but air ventilation's good. I guess I'll have to get some better lighting for this shop area when it gets dark. The window doesn't give any more light. You know, I have a Delta scroll saw, but this cheap little scroll saw actually does a much better job because only the blade wiggles, where on the Delta the whole thing vibrates. I don't know what they were thinking when they designed that. Also, I like scroll saws, no sawdust. Okay, that blade is really dull. Probably got dull from cutting those circuit boards from my last video. Whoa, there's no getting that out unless I drill it, tap it, put a screw in it and pull it. Did the rest on my bandsaw. Uh-oh. You guys see this and not tell me? Look at that. Okay. I need to focus on my work. Hey, look at this, guys. Serendipity. Let's check some fans out. See if I can hold a fan right here. Pretty sure I could put some screws in, center this fan, and have my fan right on the outside. So I'm keeping the extra length. And I will undo the screws on the other side when I need to take the panel off. Maybe make this one remove with the panel, the front panel, so it slides in. These three will hold the fan. This one will provide some, this is the heat gunned one, it'll provide some resistance to just falling off. Or maybe I take this panel off another machine since I have a bunch of them and put the stepper circuits here like the Arduinos and the stepper table circuits and feed the wires through this hole into the motor controller circuits, the LM1825 motor controllers. It's in the amps to the stepper motors. I think I need to think about this some more before I mess with these pieces. I took a Dremel tool to the remainder of the plastic pieces and actually drilled out one of these things right here. But look what happens. Here's my circuit board. I'm actually putting it in a different orientation than I planned, but this thing is press fit with the tension on the heat sinks, which is perfect. These are computer heat sinks. Look at that, it fit perfectly. I had to saw one of these circuit boards off with a Dremel tool. But watch this. It sits flush. How do you like that? So stay tuned. I think that wraps it up for now. I'll show another video with plexiglass, I think, on this side. Or on the other side where all the LEDs are. But also, pretty soon I'm going to reveal why I'm making this CNC machine. I have a specific project in mind. It's top secret and I need to make hundreds of parts. So stay tuned and please subscribe.